Hi folks, welcome to your MWIS Winter Planner. This updated on Friday the 16th of December. Quite a complex weather story as we roll onwards towards Christmas. A winter wonderland though this weekend across most of the mountains with extensive snow cover, particularly inland across Scotland from low elevations upwards. We do see some changes though as we go into the early part of the new week, but a thaw across the Scottish mountains looks to be quite short-lived because the majority of next week puts us back below freezing point, but a more active spell of weather with much windier conditions and some stormy conditions at times over the mountains. Let's set the scene with the general weather story then over the next couple of weeks, and we see lower pressure in charge in this week up to Christmas, with more unsettled conditions then dominating. Still a big zone of high pressure focused to the northwest of us, and it's a bit of a battleground between the air masses then, with still some very cold air coming around from northern Scandinavia into the system, but also some milder air that will affect more southern regions at times, and much milder air has spread in across continental Europe as well through this spell. The general theme between Christmas and New Year seems to be that high pressure is back strongly centred around Scandinavia, whereas low pressure is toward the southwest again. And a bit of a battle across the country as a whole in terms of the temperatures, then, where we're still seeing some of those colder easterly airflows prevailing, particularly across more northern regions, bumping into milder air that circulates around some of those lows towards the southwest, coming in with its origins off the Atlantic and coming in from the Mediterranean as well, which could mean that the south of Britain is more often milder, the north of Britain is more often colder, and somewhere in the middle of all that, the potential for a mix of rain and snow. Let's take you through the shorter term details then. First of all, the freezing level situation over the days ahead. And we start off Saturday with much terrain frozen with icy conditions in places where there's been the rain, sleet, and snow during Friday. Notice towards the west of Wales, we have a higher freezing level here, and towards the western coasts could be as high as 800 metres. So that slightly milder air feeding in from the Irish Sea here. So coastal hills and mountains even toward the Lake District, we'll see relatively higher temperatures. Widespread frost, though, inland across England and Wales. Take you onwards through Saturday daytime, and that slightly higher freezing level then extends further across Wales, so near or just above freezing point towards the high tops here. Around the Pennines, that freezing level is quite a bit lower, and there's scope for some snow there as well. We'll see that in a moment. And for Scotland, the freezing level staying broadly below around 400 metres, apart from higher conditions around the west coast. As we go overnight into Sunday, a frost forms widely inland for many places. Then coastal fringes will keep those comparatively higher temperatures. But watch what goes on as we go onwards through Sunday daytime, as much milder air then starts to roll its way in from the southwest by this stage. A very low freezing level ahead of that, though, with those frosty conditions, gives the scope for snow and some freezing rain as the precipitation moves in to that colder air. So watch for icy conditions developing through Sunday, but a massive rise of freezing level as we go later in the day. We'll see temperatures lift well above freezing point, even to the highest summits as we go onwards into the evening and the night. The Scottish mountains may just hover closer to freezing, the surface terrain staying frozen, but will start to thaw as we head onwards into Monday daytime. The snowpack that exists on the tops will still have some consolidation to it, but we will be above freezing point as we go onwards through the daytime. Notice as we go through into Tuesday that we start to lower the freezing level again from the west, and we're back to about 800 to 1,000 metres across the Highlands, and even getting back below freezing point then on the highest tops of England and Wales by this stage. Taking things through midweek, and it looks a similar story into Wednesday. The higher mountains near or just below freezing point, some slightly milder air again coming in across Wales and more southern parts of the Pennines. The exact north-south boundary of this by around Thursday is uncertain, but it does look as though much of Scotland stays in the colder air and possibly some even lower temperatures coming back by the end of the week here. Taking you through the snow depth situation then as we go through the days ahead, and this for Saturday morning shows extensive snow cover across most hills and mountains, even to lower levels in many places, and extensive depths across the Highlands. The most considerable is across the north, but some fairly sizable fresh depths have developed during Friday across more central and southwestern parts of the Highlands. So plenty of fresh snow there to go at. Taking the story forwards then as we go through Saturday, just notice how a bit more accumulates over the western side of the Pennines here as some more frequent snow falls for spells during the day on Saturday. So just watch for that one around the Peak District and the Lancashire Pennines through Saturday daytime. The snow, though, is still around across the Highlands, very much into Sunday. Some further falls for a time over Wales early Sunday, but that will then turn to rain, and just watch how things then diminish as we go forwards into Monday. So the lying snow will still be around, but becomes patchier and thinner and confined to the higher tops in England and Wales. Maybe most of it gets washed away. For Scotland, even though the temperature does rise, there's a lot of snow to melt, so a fair amount of it will very much stay in place, and it may help to consolidate some of it as some moisture gets into it, but at low elevations a lot of it will disappear as we go onwards through Monday and into early Tuesday. But by the stage, middle part of Tuesday, temperatures are lower and that snowpack will start to freeze. Some very icy conditions then getting back into the story across most higher mountains. The snow will come back in then from the west and showers through the middle of the week across the Highlands, so still some sizable depths shown here on modelling, and not really too much of anything across England and Wales. A few pockets, some icy conditions maybe to be aware of on higher tops through the middle of the week, but it's Scotland that's the focus of lying snow as we head through the week ahead. Looking at the weather charts themselves for the next few days, Saturday is rather a blustery day, southwesterly winds, air temperature will be below freezing across the higher tops, and be aware of that considerable chill factor then we're exposed to some quite gusty conditions out there. We do have that front that's draped across the South Pennines and into North Wales as well, giving some rain, sleet and snow, mostly confined the sleet and snow to higher levels in Wales. It's a bit lower down though for the Pennines. As mentioned, do be aware of that snow risk for a good few hours here. Some overnight snow in the Lake District will tend to be fading out to give just a few flurries. Flurries will come in across western Scotland too, sleet or rain around lower elevations toward the west coast, mainly dry towards eastern Scotland. A lot of cloud around, shrouding many western hills to quite low elevations, best the breaks further towards the east. Sunday sees our airflow come from the south and the wind increasing, becoming gales, even severe gales across the mountains as time goes on, soonest across Wales and then northwards through the afternoon. Those fronts bringing that snow and the rain increasingly northwards. Much of Scotland may get away with a dry day, particularly northern regions, maybe most of daylight, but watch for snow coming in quite quickly from the south later on in the afternoon. And all of that snow and rain piling in across England and Wales. The temperatures lifting then across Wales through the daytime and further north across England towards the evening time. On Monday, it's strong and mild south to southwesterly winds that are in charge. All mountain tops then above freezing point by a good few degrees. The risk of gales, even severe gales across many mountains, particularly England and Wales by the stage. And some rain and low cloud, murky, damp conditions, not really a pleasant day, with some very wet conditions on the ground too, where snow is melting. The threat of very wild conditions is going to be the theme then into the early part of the new week, as low pressure is centred just to the west of us. It's a chillier day by Tuesday then. The airflow has come around more from the northwest in its origins. So as we saw, those temperatures are lower, and showers coming in. We'll have some hail and some snow again across the mountains, mainly in western Scotland. The risk then of gale force winds pretty widely. Tightly packed isobars keep that similar theme into Wednesday. Could be a stormy day across most higher tops then at this stage. Frequent precipitation in western Scotland, a mix of rain, snow and hail over the mountains. England and Wales may be comparatively drier, but watching for a further frontal system coming in from the southwest with time. A very turbulent spell then taking us through the middle of this week. But at this stage, for Scotland at least, temperatures are back below freezing. So some changeable and at times very difficult conditions expected during the week ahead. Stay up to date with all your local information on our website. That is your winter planner. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.